Alright, quick overview of the changes in Meerkat 0.6.2. It's mostly a UX upgrade. The operations. Say we drag something in here and we use the new rectangular select to move this item around. It does the classic classification here with anything with a fill or is black stroked gets put in the raster. Anything else gets anything blue gets put in the engrave. Anything red gets put in the cut. You can also do basic classification. This will let you do all of these items. Let's say we grab this, we select teal, it'll put it into the teal engrave, and then our teal engrave can say and so if we ran this, this teal engrave would go at a different speed than the rest of it, and you can easily classify them. This will now go at 35. This will go back at the we can put it back in the teal, which will make it go at 49 again, and then you can just easily select your items and then classify them as you need. Anything with a fill, though, if you have a raster group here, you get a filled item, then if you classify it as red, it will end up in raster because it still has a fill. You'd have to set the fill to none. Say change it to green, it'll probably go in the green because it has no fill, because it'll classify first into whatever it can up here, and then it will sub-classify down here, assuming the stroke doesn't matter. They also now save, so when you save them out, here's a file with already saved settings. So I have no operations whatsoever. I drag this in here. It has my preset operations at 324, top to bottom, and then it has engrave, and then it has cut at 10.6. So you can now save the settings. In addition, there's the new operations property. This is the advanced stuff. In here, you can disable. You change it to output. Then when you go in here, it doesn't show up. So it has no raster job here. And then if we turn this back on, hey, look at that, it has a raster job. So you can easily disable and enable them here. In addition, raster and image have crosshatch. It'll do a horizontal raster, and then it'll do a vertical raster across. You say set your lines to 7, which is pretty far apart. It'll go this way, then this way, and it'll sort of get rid of the scan line looking things that I'll have otherwise. Additional changes in image. So let's go ahead and delete this, and let's drag in an image. Now, let's set this step to 5. Okay, so you'll notice when I go set other blue, red classify, it'll classify the image. The difference in image operation from a standard raster is the raster steps is pass through. So this is actually what it's going to do. If you have multiple images, it'll put them all in the image. It'll do a raster of this one at step 5, and then a raster of this one at step 1. And if I change this to, say, step 3, it'll do this one at step 5 and this one at step 3. So you can do multiple images at the same time. And it won't combine them. So this one will be first, and this one, and then it'll go to this one. If you wanted to combine them into a single image, you could probably make raster image, but you could also just change the operation to raster, and then the steps will have to be equal because it will combine into a single image. With this, you don't actually have to make the steps equal to avoid any of the problems. When it goes here, even though I have 2 images at different step sizes, it still gives me a green light to just start the job. The image console commands, not that these are used. I have the butterfly selected. Image white remove. This removed all the white from the image because it wasn't going to raster anyway. So now I just sort of have a transparent edge butterfly. Image crop. So say we do 500, 500, 1,000. That completely obliterated. There's a crop feature there. Image contrast at 1.4. Now let's up the contrast there. Let's do image brightness 1.6. Image color 3. And no selected image. Okay. Image color 3. Image blur. Blurs the image. There's also image sharpen, image edge enhance, find edges, image find edges. And so it'll find the edges in the image. There's also your standard image dither. And select the image. Image dither. Purely black and white pixels. And on this other one, let's go ahead and do image mirror, which mirrors it across, image flip, flips it. You can do the same sort of thing by just inverting the raster and then actualizing the image. With this, it's actually just flipping the actual pixels. Basically anything that was in pill/pillow got added. We can do image grayscale, image auto contrast, 90%. Cutoff percent 90. Maybe. Okay, the auto contrast on this will also have some colors. Usually it does some nice stuff. Image detail is actually a little bit better than detail. Like it crisps up the image. Image solarize at this is the pixels above which, so say 127 is height, so anything above that gets flipped. Image save, and then the file name altered.png. Saved. And so now I drag this in here, and then you'll notice that it's the altered image. Mess with them and then save them out if that's what you want to do. Next up, let's go into languages. This is pretty straightforward. This has existed since the beginning of Meerkat, but now with somebody actually offering to do some of the Italian translation, we get a languages menu here, so you'll be able to select the language, do it in the language of your choosing. If you see Meerkat in your own language, go ahead and volunteer to do translations and we can get that set. Beep now works. Pretty reasonable sound. This is not actually super ready for prime time, but if we do element star merge, selects all, and then this has merged them all together into a single object. So it creates a single object, and then in here we can do optimize, select item, optimize travel. So now it will be optimized engrave group and then start it up, moving, and you'll notice that it should, when it jumps to the next item, make a very small jump because it will have removed all the extra stuff. It's one of the first steps in cut planning, so it just does the tiniest things to reduce the travel time. Just does a traveling salesman problem solution with 2op. It's of limited use right now because you have to do this crazy stuff. But once it's done, then you do subpath. And then that'll break it into a little subpaths. If you go drag some item in here. In here you have now clone reference, which will make additional copies of the same reference. It'll put many copies in there. And then you have duplicate. When you do duplicate, it will actually make additional copies of the same object. Also, you'll notice that you can see this entire path command. It goes all the way up the screen. That's because this is no longer limited size-wise. Shows you all that information, which is a little bit unneeded. When you close down your copy of Meerkat, these operations will stay. There's also in keymap. Before, the keymap settings weren't properly staying. So say if we went in here and we bound space and we bound it to plus laser and we added that, this here will have space bound to plus laser, and if we press our space bar, it'll fire our laser from standing still. So you can do the WASD keys, WASD, and then press the space bar and it will fire your laser. So you can sort of turn it into kind of Etch-a-Sketch mode. It's not a default item because I don't want people burning down their house when they press space. There's a couple of bugs like large. If you right clicked and said rotate, it wouldn't rotate. Now they will. Mode, when you turn this off, okay, load this up. Okay, so when it would actualize the image and you told it to execute, it would jump strangely and could hit the gantry. It's one of the reasons I pushed the version up. Thanks for watching.